Welcome students, welcome to the next lecture of Physics Expert P.S. Bakshi, and today we are going to discuss refraction. As in the previous lecture we have discussed reflection. I will also provide a link to you in the description for that video as well, okay? And we are just going to start, we are not wasting time, okay? And here is refraction for you now. What is refraction basically? If you it is the bending of light rays from their straight paths when they go from one medium to another medium, which means whenever a light travels from one medium to another, it's always going to deviate from its path. Now, we will also discuss the reasons for that, and we will discuss how it is bending toward the normal and how it is bending away from the normal. We will discuss all those things and the laws of refraction as well. First of all, what is reflection basically? Whenever a light coming from one medium to another medium, then it is going to be bending from its path. Now, just like this, we are just drawing a diagram. So we are just assuming, now this is a denser medium. Let's assume that is a denser medium number second, and that is a denser medium. Okay, and that is going to be the first medium. It is a rarer medium. Now, if a ray of light coming from rarer medium, so let's assume that is going to be like this, and this is the normal for us, so that is going to be AB. Now if AB is the incident light which is coming from rarer to denser medium, so it is going to be deflected from its path, which means it is bending toward the normal. So the angle made by incident light with the normal is known as angle of incidence, and the angle made by a refracted ray with the normal is known as angle of refraction. Now always remember one thing, the R is always going to be less than I. Why so? We are going to prove that. Now this will be proven in that topic as well, okay? How this is going to be happen. Now if that light, now it is from denser medium, it is moving to the rarer medium again. So we are just drawing a normal here. So let's assume that angle is I dash. Okay, then the light is going away from the normal, which is going to be the angle R dash. Now how those things happen? And basically, there are some students who thinks about that if we are bending toward the normal and then away from the normal, it is going to be the same thing, which means it is going to retrace its path. No, it's not going to be like that, okay? If we are removing that denser medium, that glass slab, okay, so that ray should be like this. So which means it is always going to be deviate from its path, and this perpendicular distance shows the lateral shift, which means if we are not placing that glass slab, the ray of light will go in that way. But if we place a glass slab, so it is going to be deviated from its path and it is parallel to that actual path. The difference between them is known as lateral shift. Now, what are going to be the reasons for that? Why the light bending when it goes from one medium to another medium? The first point is the speed of light. Whenever a ray of light coming from rarer to denser, it is always going to decrease its speed because of the higher density, higher molecules density, because of higher number of dust particles, higher number of atoms, molecules, whatever, that make that system, that make that medium as denser. So obviously here is going to be high traffic. When ray of light coming from high speed to a denser medium, it is going to lose its speed. And whenever a ray of light is going to increase or decrease its speed, it is always going to deviate. So when it comes from rare to denser, it is bending toward the normal, and when it is going from denser to rare, it is always going to increase its speed. So it is going to be away from the normal. How those things to be proven in physics, okay? That is by law of refraction. Now, the first law of refraction, all the rays should lie in the same plane. Okay, the second law is very important, and that will also help you how it is bending toward normal and away from the normal. The first thing is that, now you can see here, the angle, sine of angle of incidence and sine of angle of refraction is always going to be constant, and that is known as law of refraction. Now how this happens? what is this constant? This constant basically refractive index. Now what is refractive index? Refractive index is the ratio of speed of light in vacuum to the speed of light in that particular medium. Now how this relate to our topic here? Now I will tell you is very easy thing to remember that, okay? You are not going to forget these things, okay? So this means, so sin I upon sin R. So most of the books are taking different symbols for refractive index. I am taking the mu symbol, okay? So if we place a mu here, so ray of light coming from first to second medium, I am just describing that reflection here. So which means we are coming from first to second medium. Okay, that can also be described as refractive index of second medium with respect to first. So which means sin I upon sin R is equal to mu2 over mu1, which is refractive index of second medium with respect to first, and that ratio is also known as Snell's law. Which means Snell's law is going to solve all your problems. Now remember one thing, obviously the denser medium is higher, mu2 is higher than mu1. So on the right hand side, if mu2 is greater than mu1, then obviously in the left hand side, the angle I is also going to be greater than angle R. Now for that incidence, obviously if angle I is higher than angle R, the ray of light is bending toward the normal. Now on that case, it's going to be a reverse thing, which means sin I dash over sin R dash. Now ray of light coming from second medium to first, second to first. So which means that can be written as sin I dash over sin R dash, refractive index of first medium with respect to second. Now in that equation, mu1 is here and mu2 is now here is divided by mu2. So which means all you know, the mu2 is always going to be higher. So on the right hand side, if mu2 is greater than mu1, so obviously angle R dash is also greater than angle I dash. So it's a very simple thing. So which means if R dash is greater than angle I dash, so obviously the ray of light is bending away from the normal to increase that angle. It is how that Snell's law works out in the case of refraction. It's a very important thing, and you will solve so many numericals of refraction, Snell's law, and we will discuss all those things in next video as well. Okay, so till then, stay blessed and be happy and always learn physics. Thank you so much, and don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you.